I think from primary school, you guys, if your teacher show you this, 2 divided by 0, most of them will say it is 2. It's not 2. This does not exist. Hi guys, I promise to solve these questions on the board. Why is 1 over 0 undefined? Firstly, what is undefined fraction or value? A value is undefined whenever the denominator of that expression is 0. For example, if I have x divided by 0, we call this undefined. Now, in your mathematics, if you have, I think from primary school, you guys, if your teacher show you this, 2 divided by 0, most of them will say it is 2. It's not 2. This does not exist. It is not allowed that the denominator should be 0. Now, whenever it is 0, we call it undefined or it does not exist. How? Let me show you. Let's say, for instance, if I have x divided by 2 to be 6. Now, I know that what you would first of all do here is you cross multiply. Now, if you don't want to cross multiply, what do? You can think of that number that when divided by 2 gives 6, and that is 12. Or you cross multiply as usual, that is s equals to what? 2 times this dot means multiplication, okay? So that is 12. Now let's check. If I put 12 back here, I'm going to have what? 12 as x, right? Divided by 2. Will it give me 6? Yes, it will. Now let's test the same value, but the denominator now is no more 2, is 0. We want to check why when it is 0, why it is different. So let's equate it to any constant. Let's say 6. Now here, you of course cross multiply. We have x equals to 0 times 6. 0 times 6 is 0. Okay. Now if I place my 0 back here, 0 divided by 0 will not give me 6. Okay. And in fact, 0 over 0 is not even a value. It's indeterminate. Okay. So that's why we call that undefined. So whenever a value is undefined in mathematics, whenever a value is having the denominator of a fraction is having 0, we call it undefined. All right. Then I also give this question. I say if x raised to power 0 is 1, that is anything, any value, when you raise it to 0 as a power, must give you 1. But what if the value is 0 raised to power 0? Will it give me 1? No, it won't. Okay. Now this value is also indeterminate. It cannot be determined. Okay, indeterminate. So you can leave it like this. All right. So this undefined, indeterminate, we can't really define this. I mean, we cannot determine the value of what the value will be. So that's why we call it indeterminate. So please, you don't say 1. You don't. All right. And you can also check this with any constant. Let's say c. If I have 1 divided by 0 equals to c, you cross multiply. If I have 1, that means I have 1 equals to 0 times c. Whenever you multiply any value with 0, it gives you 0. This c is any real number, a constant. Okay. And this 1 is not equals to 0. So it is undefined. That's another way to find out. Okay.